Welcome to episode number 38 of About the Cards podcast, live tonight on YouTube. As always, I'm with my host, Stephen Loeffler at Junkwax Twins.
What did I tell you not to do?
At Ben Wilson at our trading cards, and I'm Tim Shepler at Big Shep 79. We are a podcast by collectors for collectors, and we hope to bring you a smart and insightful podcast discussing trading card collecting. We're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here on YouTube. You can always follow us on Twitter at About the Cards. Make sure that we're also available on iTunes and Stitcher. And when you subscribe to us on those accounts or those carriers, I guess, you'll get a notification when the show's there. And also on YouTube, when we go live, you will know to come and join us. Real quick, I see that Brian Bice himself is here tonight. What's up, Brian? He likes my hat tonight, and I dug through a box to find this hat. I'm wearing this hat for you tonight, buddy. The only time you'll see me in an A's hat for the next hour and a half will be tonight, and I'm doing it for you. And the reason being is we have some sad news, and Brian has shared this on Twitter with everyone, and he sent out a tweet this week, and I heard last week. I just, man, I don't know. We love you, buddy, and
absolutely crushing you.
Yeah, he said I'm heartbroken, lost. I really don't have words. My little girl Carmen has passed away. It's taken me a while to gather up the strength to write these words. I love you, Carmen. Thank you for allowing me to always be your dad. And we love you, buddy. And I don't think we can have. We can say much more than that. It's really warmed my heart to see everybody that's reached out and done stuff this week. I know that someone was nice enough to start to do a GoFundMe for Carmen, and we're over $9,800 there in just a few days, with lots of donations, lots of names from folks in the hobby. People even selling items like cards and jerseys and raffles to donate the money. I know Philly Puck fan who was on our show a few weeks ago is selling a 2016 Bowman Chrome Vlad Guerrero 9, just base card for $70 or best offered, and he'll send it to you. And all that's going to go to the GoFundMe card connector. There was a tweet. They sent out a tweet. There was an auction for a Thurman Thomas JSA certified auto jersey. The bidding starts at $40 and goes a dollar increment, and the winner pays right away. Well, the winner paid, and that was at DCL Cards. At DCL Cards, won the jersey, paid $250, and he gave it back to him and said, "Do it again, raffle this jersey off again."
Right.
And guys, there's been so many of these out there, and I want to say thank you. Brian's is a good friend of ours, a good friend of the show, an even better person, and.
When people say, hey, so-and-so is a good person, I mean, I've had the pleasure of knowing Brian for a while now, as you have, Tim, and I've had the pleasure of meeting both, Carmen and Brian's wife, Melissa. I mean, it's not hyperbole. Brian is a really, really good guy. He his wife is fantastic. In the short time I've got a chance to know her, they're good people. I mean, and our heart bleeds for them and aches for them, and just want to let him know that we're here for him in any capacity. And, I'm so proud and honored to be a part of this hobby, because it's just like the second that the issue happened with Clay and his family a few weeks back, all of a sudden the hobby just came together to raise money for him. Now with this tragedy with our friend Brian, same thing. Everybody just kind of came out and donated what they could, whether it's $5, $10. Hey, let me sell this. There's a Ricky Henderson card that I saw that was graded that somebody was selling to raise money, and obviously the Thurman Thomas jersey. And I'm proud to be a part of the hobby because it goes deeper than our shared passion for cards.
Yep.
Right. Absolutely.
So, and hugs to you, buddy. And hopefully we can bring you some entertainment tonight and be goofballs, because that's really what we are. We missed Steph last week, and Mike Summers, he's like the Ohio State. That's how I have to refer to him. Came in and did a great job. So I think we found maybe a co-host if one of us goes down again.
Okay, well, first off, let me correct something. You said we missed Steph. You got to speak for yourself on this one. You missed
Mike
him.
and I.
I wouldn't say I was missing him to take a line out of, Office Space.
Well, I didn't miss you either, Tim. Or
I
Ben.
missed- Don't confuse me with, listen, don't ever confuse me with the guy that was in Lord of the Rings.
Well, it's the ASAT.
Right.
Throwing him off.
Yeah.
You're right.
Oh.
You're right. I am Gandalf. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. I'm just letting everybody know that it's burning like around as I'm wearing it. I think this was my dad's, and he got it back in 1990. He went to a game and for work, and they gave these away, so I'm wearing it. So we're good. I want to clear the air, so I'm going to take a few minutes here. Last week, I spoke about Fat Pack's podcast and Eric Norton, and I kind of, I went off and explained what happened, and so he actually listened. Thank you, Eric. He listened to the show. It sounded like, and we DM'd back and forth for quite a while on Thursday. And he actually came on a show last Thursday, and he apologized, kind of covered some of the stuff, and said he was going to reach out, and he did. And it was a real good guy about that. We went back and forth, and he actually interviewed me yesterday to be on his show tomorrow. So cool. Guys, check out that podcast because you'll get some more of me. And we kind of cleared the air again, and I think we just both misunderstood. He apologized and he said he could explain things better and done something better. And he said he's getting back in the hobbies and start to collect some things that he didn't have when he was a kid that he would always wanted to have. And that's kind of where I'm collecting, right? It's like, hey, I never had an 89 Griffey. Well, now I have a couple 89 Griffies and that kind of stuff. So it's good that maybe some good came out of it. And we put it to bed, and our shows are different, and we both can. He said we both can. I said we both agreed we can exist in this hobby, but in the same room. But it'd have to be a really big room. So,
I reached out to Eric too after all that, just to let him know I didn't want any bad blood between the shows, and I consider Eric a friend.
Sure.
I just want to make sure that again, it's a shared hobby, right? We're all in here for a reason, and we happen to have put some microphones on one day and it went live on the YouTube, and he works for Beckett and has, that podcast. It wasn't anything we said last week wasn't meant to be anything other than, most of what we say comes from a place of passion, and,
right.
And Eric was very sincere in his comments privately, and at least to me, and I'm sure he was with you as well. Yeah. And hey, okay, he said something that wasn't very popular. He paid his penance and moved on, and we can all move on. And
I'm not the one that likes to rile things up. We let Ben do that. And, right. Hey, there's a little change of course, and I'm wearing an ASAP all of a sudden this week. So who knows what's happening?
Well, it's kind of like the Marvel movies where one of them is like, hey, look, we have a Hulk. We have a Ben.
That's true. And we were just talking off air about how we have a Steph, and he's like, our Leave It to Beaver, starring Wally, which would be you. I would be, Eddie Haskell. And Steph as the Beeve.
Yeah. God, you were a little rough on the Beeve last night, weren't you, Ward?
Yeah. Old joke.
Well, he deserved it.
Yeah. So we're going to get into the week that was last week's releases. We actually have two Tops Livings to cover. So 2 weeks ago, week 50, which was the last week of February, the 50th week. It ended up being the 50th out of 50 weeks. It was a bad week. It's just over 9,100 cards. Ivan Rodriguez, Hall of Fame catcher of the Rangers, sold just over 3,100. He placed 139 out of 150, and he dropped to 140 with this week's releases.
He's the worst legend, quote unquote legend, has fallen.
I believe so, and his son Derek outsold him by almost 2,700 cards.
Ooh, that's going to make for an interesting Thanksgiving.
Yes. Card 149, Aaron Altair of the Phillies, the outfielder, sold just shy of 3,000 cards. He was 149 of 150, so he's the second worst card, to Nick Markakis, and he's still the second worst card. He's 152 of 153 now. And then card 150, Chris, I can't throw the baseball, Davis, the DH for the A's, sold 15 more cards than Aaron Altair, and he was 147 of 150. Now he's at 150 of 153. So guys, I was surprised that Ivan sold so poorly.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. You would think that someone recently elected, no less, to the Hall of Fame, somebody who played for a few teams, couldn't have drawn up more interest and buzz than what he did so.
Yeah, he's the lowest real quick as I look. Tomei is in the 120th spot. He sold 3750 and Ivan was at 3177. So Tomei outsold him by almost 600 cards.
But one thing to keep an eye on is, so arguably you could say Ivan Rodriguez is the best catcher since Johnny Bench, right? If Bench and Yogi Berra are your gold standards, Ivan Rodriguez is right there along with them, or just a small step below. But he doesn't necessarily I don't think there's a huge market for him. And I know his time came before all the autos and whatnot, but he's one of those guys that you kind of forgot about the second he retired. Obviously when you think of more modern day catchers, you're going to have Posey and Molina. Before that, you have Piazza, and it's almost like you skip right over Rodriguez until you get, into the guys that came along in the 80s and 70s and 60s. And it's like, is that because he was affiliated and associated with the steroid era? But it doesn't surprise me. It just seems like catchers are often overlooked.
Yeah. It was a great photo though, too. It was one of the best pictures they've had, or designs that or drawings they've had.
Yeah. As far as Chris Davis goes, I think if he ends up signing an extension with the A's and plays another 3-4 years with the A's and does what he does, and the reason I reference specifically the A's because they are a smaller market and sometimes they do get lost outside of the super big names like Henderson, McGuire, and Jackson. I can honestly see 5 years after Chris Davis retires, people go back and go, man, I should have grabbed some of his stuff, because if he keeps this up, he's going to be, I don't think he's a Hall of Famer by any stretch, but I do think he's underappreciated in the hobby.
Is he a current day Dave Kingman?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's a fair, comparison between the two.
Yeah.
And his guy's going to hit home runs. He's, his defense leaves a lot to be desired, but I mean, dude, how can you not like a dude that literally has hit 247 each of the past 4 years?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Dude, that's an incredible stat. I mean, I don't care if you like the guy or not, dude.
I just like the crap.
As a numbers guy, no, I mean, you don't have to like everybody, but as a numbers guy, that's a hell of a stat.
Yeah, I only like one of the 3 people on this podcast, so.
Well, you're welcome, buddy. You're welcome.
We're going to move on to this week's Topps League, or from last week's Topps League, week 51, February 28th through the 6th of March. We sold almost 10,000 cards, and it was the 48th out of 51 weeks. And card 151, Steven Strasburg, former phenom, the Washington Nationals, sold a handful of cards shy of 3,100. He finished 145th. Card number 152, rookie outfielder Kyle Tucker of the Astros was a high seller of the week. He sold 38,053. He was card 117 overall. I bought a couple. And he kind of looked like a Beavis and Butthead character. And then card 153, Mike Clevenger, pitcher of the Indians, sold 2 cards shy of 3,000, finishing at 149 of 153. So, it was a better week than we've had recently. Still under 10,000 cards sold, but 65 cards shy. I think as we start to ramp up, I think this next week is going to be nice. I think it had a good mix. We're at a print run of over 935,000 in this first 51 weeks. So we'll restart that counter over in week 53. So thoughts on the Strasburg Tucker Clevenger week?
Well, I was going to tack on, I wonder how long it takes to actually get over 1 million. I mean, it's the set started out strong, but it's died down an extreme ton. And yeah, sure. The names aren't exactly jumping off the wallet to buy them, but yeah, I don't know. There's something that I don't think we're covering this week. That the Topps announced as far as we are. Okay.
Well, yeah, we're covering it.
something that Topps announced that may take its place in terms of where money is going, but we'll talk about that in a bit, I guess.
Yeah, now I want to get onto that. So maybe even better. So last week we also had 2019 Topps Heritage come out, which we have a lot to talk about later about that, guys. 18-19 Upper Deck Synergy Hockey, 18 Panini Contenders Optic Football, and 2019 Topps Alliance of American Football. Get it while the league lasts. All right, hot off the press is this week's release. We got this release early. I was excited to see, and I think this is probably kind of what we've talked about as being almost a semi-perfect release. It's week 52. It's the final week of the quote year, I guess, if you want to go that way. It's how we're going to look at it. Card 154, Stan Musial, Hall of Fame outfielder, St. Louis Cardinals, the 7th Cardinal. Card 155, Luis Urias, second baseman, rookie second baseman of the Padres. He is the 6th Padre. And then card 156, Ryan Healy, first baseman, Seattle Mariners, the 4th Mariner. So we have a Hall of Famer. We have a rookie that's got some buzz, and we have an produced team in the set with the Mariners only having 4 cards. Guys, what are your thoughts on this week?
A nice set. I definitely I've debated on picking up the Musial myself just because it looks that nice. But it's definitely been one of the better sets that we've had in months, maybe. What do you guys think?
This was the first week in a while that I've picked up cards here and there. I picked up the Davis and the Rodriguez together. There was a couple weeks prior to that with Greinke and Freeman being the headliners that I didn't pick up anybody. But this week created a conundrum of sorts. I mean, for me, Musial was a no-brainer because I'm collecting anybody who's retired. But then you have Healy, who normally, if it was a player equivalent of Healy's stature, I probably would have passed. Say like a Yonder Alonso, who was a former A, but I had such a big Healy, crush when he was with the A's before Olsen came up and took his place, and then Davis shifted from left field to DH. So it's like, what do I do? So I ended up having to pull the trigger on both Musial and Healy. But yeah, you guys are right. It's a really strong week because it presents, like you mentioned, you have a solid upcoming rookie, one of the more legendary names. And then, Healy's not a great name, but what's going to push him hopefully would be the fact that, it's only the 4th time that we've seen this team represented. So it's a good blend. And I think if they had done more of this over the last few weeks, we probably would have saw a little bit of a spike, maybe 3 to 5%, not huge, but.
Yeah, no, I think I'm going to pick up a Urea. I'm also thinking about picking up the Musial. Looks good. Also, 2019 Panini Donruss Baseball launched today.
Yes,
$68 a box, 24 packs a box, 8 cards a pack. You're going to get 3 auto and or mem cards in a box, 5 parallels. Among them, they have a 150th anniversary honoring the landmark birthday of the professional baseball in America, and these are done with a throwback clay-coated cardstock. There's 5 insert sets. There's 24 variations. It's a 252 card base set with 11 parallels. There's Diamond Kings are the first 30 cards. The next 20 are going to be rated rookies, and the Diamond Kings, it's got an 85 style to it. The rated rookies. Yeah, the vets are 51 through 200, and then they have retro 85 cards that are 200 through 250, and there's 2 additional base cards which were 251 and 252. There's 8 auto sets, and a few of those are going to be 85 autograph styled cards. There's 5 mem sets and 9 insert sets. It's probably one of the better looking up Donruss sets in the last couple of years because they kind of started going to it's the 85. So because like they were using like a mixture of 81 through 84 the last few years, and all those sets kind of look the same. And right. 85 had the black border. It had some lines towards the bottom quarter of the card, so it broke everything up, and so it just gives a different look. So
yeah, I'm excited for this set. I love Donruss, and there was couple people on Twitter, either earlier today or yesterday, that were talking about it, and somebody's like, "Should I buy a box?" And everybody, of course, is it's that lazy argument of the same thing. Why I don't like the word clutch. It's just a lazy way of explaining something. Oh, that guy's clutch. What does that mean? It's the same kind of thing with this. Is it's just a lazy argument. Oh, it doesn't have logos. But does it really need it? Depending on the direction of the imagery, the team name might not be represented on the player anyway. And do you really need it to say Athletics or Royals or Twins in the bottom corner?
No.
Do you have to for the price point? I mean, look at the Acuna. It's a nice looking card. For us, we all grew up on an era where there was Pepsi cards and sunflower seed cards and all these other
food issue, yeah,
cereal and Hostess, yeah. Man, none of those had logos. So I think a lot of the people that are complaining, at least I would imagine, are probably people who are either hit collectors and find a value in having it licensed, or are probably more casual fans of collecting. To me, I mean, I saw that it was 85 this year, and I'm like, man, I saw this Matt Chapman was the Diamond King, and I immediately picked out all the parallels that are going to be reasonably priced and easy enough to collect.
Yeah.
And I did find it awful funny that it was very similar to Topps flagship, the Mother's Day, Father's Day, 150th anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They kind of tripped over themselves, and then they've got the 42 to honor Jackie Robinson, but because they don't have a license, they just call it the 42 relic or the 42 parallel.
Yeah. No, yeah. I found that interesting. I've never really been a big fan of the Donruss since they came out. I bought a box, I think, in 14, and you go through it, and there's so many parallels and variations that you get in your box. If you're trying to build a set or whatever, it's going to take a few.
Well, and then on top of it, the Diamond Kings and Rated Rookies are, I think, like one a pack, if that.
Yeah.
So the base card, the base run usually from 51 to 150, 200, whatever it is, depending on the year, is usually a whole lot easier to complete. And like Ben said, yeah, you don't have the logo or team name rights. But if you can look past that, it's a nice looking set, a nice enough looking set. Just know going in that you don't have that. And some of the cards are going to be a lot harder to find. Not like impossible, like super short print levels. Yeah. But it's going to take a bit to finish it.
Yeah, my thing is secondary market on some of this stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, but it's not a bad price for a box. So
what's one interesting thing is Mark Hoyle reached out to me today asking if I knew of anybody who was, a Brent Williams or Chris Torres of this product. Anybody that's, where he can go out and grab his master team set. And unfortunately, I don't know of anybody. So if anybody's out there listening that can kind of point Mark Hoyle or myself or any other collector in the right direction, I bought into a break. 8-box break just to see what I can get and hopefully at least get all the base, maybe a parallel or two here and there. But it's one of those things that it's a good price point. It's probably not a lot of value in it for breakers. But if you're looking for an inexpensive product, as much as $70 is inexpensive.
Yep.
It's good break. But if you're a team collector, it might not be a box you're going to want to buy. Like you said, there's a lot of fluff in there. And so you're not going to come away with enough to make it worth your while if you're a team collector.
Yep. So take a look at it. We also have coming out today, 2018 Panini Encased Football, and oh golly Moses, $260 a box, 1 pack per box, 5 cards per pack. You're going to get one graded autograph, 1 additional autograph card, and 2 mem cards. I'm not sure what the 5th card is. So this is the 3rd year for the autograph heavy product, and those graded autographs come already graded by BGS, so they're slapped. There is no checklist as of today, and I was just clicking through. I went to Beckett, I went to Cardboard Connection, I went to groupbreakerchecklist.com, and no checklist to be had for the product.
Dude, that Josh Rosen that Steph's sharing right now
says Chosen Rosen.
A second ago, that was legit. The black and white with the helmet in color.
Yeah.
Right.
I like that a
And
lot.
now it's going to say traded Rosen because we drafted Kyler Murray #1 overall.
I don't know what's a dumber team: the New York Giants, the Oakland Raiders, or the Arizona Cardinals.
Are the Arizona Cardinals turning into the new Cleveland Browns?
If listen, this is a simple choice. If you're Steve Keim, you draft Nick Bosa, you let Rosen develop, and then you use your free agent money to fill in some holes around it. It's really simple. Don't overthink it. Bosa's the #1 choice. You have Rosen, who was in a bad system last year. Steve Wilkes made his fair share. Let's just do that. But what they're going to do is they're going to take Kyler Murray. They're going to sell Rosen 60, 70 cents on the dollar, and they're going to suck again next year because, they got no pass rush.
Yeah, they got a guy your height playing quarterback.
Yeah.
5'6".
Who apparently is stupid, according to Charlie Casserly. And
Charlie Casserly, let's just start there. The source, Charlie Casserly is a moron. Let's just start there. Him and his hair.
It's just it's interesting, the devaluation, and we don't have to get into it much, but of his intelligence now, along with his height.
No, he's measured. He's like 5'10". I mean, he's tall enough to play quarterback in the NFL. If Drew Brees and Russell Wilson can play and be good quarterback, the NFL is changing. You don't have to be Drew Bledsoe anymore. You don't have to be Troy Aikman. You don't have to be a 6'5" monster back there.
You don't.
It's a
but
different
here's
NFL.
Is he going to go back to the A's? Is he sold? He's short. Here's the thing. If I'm in the top 10, I don't touch Murray with a 10-foot pole. I don't. But if I could somehow get him in the second round, so therefore if he ends up not panning out, or if he decided, you know what, screw this, I'm going to play for the A's, honestly, second round pick I'm comfortable with. I would not spend a first round pick on him.
Oh, but he's going top 5 now.
He'll go top 5. He'll probably go top 3, and he's not making it past the Raiders, unfortunately. No. And
let's hope they take him. That's where he belongs.
The
Oakland Raiders and the Oakland A's.
They're going to trade for Brown and then draft Murray, and then they're going to move to Vegas, and they're going to be 3-13 perpetually for like the next decade. Good times. I'm a Colts fan now, so
welcome. Come on board.
I know we're going to go get Trey Flowers.
Well, and I told him to go sign Eric Weddle today. Just 1 year. Let him teach some of those. Malik Hooker, bring a smart vet in and let him teach those guys how to play football.
And hopefully they don't even need to call Le'Veon Bell. No thanks. That's fine. We have a lot of money. Hey, you want to sign me? No. But you can always come catch it. We'll get you season tickets. Yeah. When you blow out your ACL because you didn't play last year.
You're playing with the Jets. Also this week, 2018-19 Panini Select Basketball came out today. $185 a box, 12 packs per box, 5 cards per pack, 3 auto indoor memorabilia cards, 12 Prism parallels. Remember football? So you're going to get 2 base courtside base cards and then 10 base premium level cards. So it's a 300 card set. And remember, the hundreds are broken up. So the first 100 are the concourse cards, and those are the easier cards to get. And then you have the 101 through 200. Those are premier level seats. And so those are 10 per box. And then you have the 201 through 300. And those are 2 per box. There's 13 parallel sets, 10 plus autograph sets, 10 plus memorabilia sets, and a handful of insert sets. Some of these cards, though, the select stuff, like you're showing that Mo Bamba, it's got like lightning bolts and I don't know, all over the place. It's great. And little crowd, a little crowd in the background. There's some good looking cards in this set. And the base cards look, I've not been a huge Panini basketball fan lately, but these base cards are pretty ridiculous. And some of the parallels are pretty nice. So you're showing that Kyrie, I don't remember what parallel that is of the, 12 or 13 that they have.
Yeah, no, those are some legit. I like, the Kyrie pops for me because I love the color green. Me and Mike Summer love green. And, that's it. Man, there was a baseball set a few years ago that had like a, that similar kind of stained glass in the back. I forget what it was, but I think it was like an insert set. I like that a lot.
Yeah. A good looking card. And then the last new product this week coming out is 2019 Sage Hit Premier Draft Low Series Football. It comes out Friday, 116 a box, 20 packs per box, 6 cards per pack. You're going to pull 12 autos. 20 inserts and 20 parallels a box. Now, I know that King Kinsley said today when I went live, I did a little Periscope video. He said that his is his favorite favorite product. Cam Smith, right there, linebacker from USC, actually grew up not too far from me here in Granite Bay, about 10 minutes up the road. So I'm excited to see where he goes.
That hit product just reeks of dollar store.
It does, but hey, if you're gonna get 12 autographs for $116. That's not too bad. Is it
like that? And they're in the college uniforms. I mean, it's good for somebody like Ken, who comes from the college town, for us here in the Sacramento, Northern California area, we don't really have that college team. I mean, what's our nearest college team of any substance? It'd have to be Berkeley or Stanford, right? Yeah. But you're still an hour and a half away from us here. We didn't grow up in the Bible Belt where they don't have professional sports franchises. So your Nebraska is your baseball, basketball, football, and hockey team all wrapped up into one.
Yeah. There's a 70 card base set. The hobby boxes have gold parallels. The retail have silver. There's 4 autograph sets, 3 insert sets. Prospects to look for with autographs. Nick Bosa, as you talked, defensive end out of Ohio State. Quarterback Drew Lock out of Missouri. This is the guy that I know Ken's after. Quarterback Will Greer from West Virginia. And then wide receiver from Ole Miss, DK Metcalf, blew up the combine. They said he had like 1% body fat, and he was like all over the place.
1.7.
Yeah, just like me. So he's in some awesome shape. I
said 1.7% body fat, not leftover that to fill percent.
Yeah. So, but I know if you go to buy a blaster, I think you get 2 autographs for $20 in a blaster. Like, hey, that's not bad. I mean, Jared Stidham's in there. I just didn't remember seeing if he had an autograph or not. He's another quarterback prospect that could be in there. So, yeah, good product comes out on Friday. What's brewing next week's releases? We have a handful, guys. So we have 2018 Leaf Valiant Baseball. It's supposed to come out this week. Looks like it got pushed back to next. Ben will be excited about this next one. 2019 Topps Opening Day comes out on the 13th, along with 18-19 Upper Deck SPX Hockey. 2019 Panini's and Stars and Stripes Baseball. 2018 Panini National Treasures Football. So this is going to be fun to check out. And then 2019 Leaf Draft Football comes out. So another draft product for the NFL coming up a little over a month away for the draft. Some USA baseball cards, some opening day. It's going to be lots of fun as we get closer and closer. Yep. So guys, we're moving to Infield Chat, our hobby talk section. Tonight we got a lot here to talk about tonight. So the first one we're going to lead off with is Kyler Murray signed an autograph deal with Panini. The story was written by Beckett's own Ryan Cracknell, so check it out on Beckett.com, or I know he tweeted it out as well. The Heisman Trophy winning quarterback has signed a deal with Panini America that includes signatures on sports card products, obviously. The first Kyler Murray autographs will be in 2019 Panini Prism draft picks, and that's supposed to come out at the end of the month. And then he'll also have autographs in 2019 Panini Contenders draft picks, which comes out in April. So there's Contenders in April. You have Draft Prism in March, and they'll feature him in the Oklahoma Sooners jersey. If you're a Sooners fan, awesome. And it's non-exclusive, so Leafs also going to have products. So I believe he might be in the upcoming draft product we're going to talk about next week. So it doesn't sound like he's going to sign with Topps and Bowman to be in their product, huh? And be the guy that kills 2019 Bowman. Or did he sign with them?
He did not, as far as I understand. I'd be really interested to know. Let's hypothetically go on a limb real quick and say the Oakland A's come at him and say, hey, we'll give you a major league deal for $20 million and basically buy him away from football. What would the deal with Panini do? Because now all of a sudden he would be eligible for Topps and Bowman products. I can't see that Panini deal holding if he were to go over to the A's. So I'd imagine there's got to be some kind of an out clause that would allow him to opt out, that this is only contingent on him being in the NFL.
Yeah. Right. I find it weird because he signed with the A's.
Right.
And the fact that I figured they were holding him off for 19 Bowman.
I would imagine that I honestly think if he doesn't win the Heisman Trophy, I honestly think there's a really, really good chance that he's playing baseball right now. I think that.
But what I'm saying is 19 Bowman already has to be in production because it comes out in like almost no time.
Right.
That's the thing is, I mean, I suppose there's still a chance that he's going to be on that checklist.
At least as a base on a Chrome card, right?
They probably would have at least had to pull out his auto.
So you think they're going to Russell Wilson him?
It's possible, but the thing with Russell Wilson, though, wasn't that like after he'd already been with the Seahawks for 2 seasons? Wasn't it?
They did some of those, but his first one with the Rockies, he was
still
still
2010.
Yeah, he was. That's why he left Maryland, is because they didn't want him to go play baseball, and he did, and that's why he ended up at Wisconsin.
Okay.
So
I don't follow college football, so and that was before I was collecting. But yeah, I suppose it's possible that we could at least see him on the Bowman base and Chrome checklist. Now, if he had an auto already slated, which you assume that he did because he did sign with, I mean, there's a reason he wasn't in Bowman draft, right? He was going to be the headliner, or top 2, top 3, probably would have made the top of the box.
Yeah,
for Bowman, there's a good chance because he was going to be a big name in that product.
Yep.
So I imagine there's going to be a complete redesign, and at the very least, I wouldn't think that him signing with Panini, since it's an autograph deal, would have anything to do with whether or not he could still maintain a base and a Chrome parallel.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Another fun story that came out this week is a limited edition RBI Baseball 19 will have Topps cards in it. So Walmart only. This year, for the first time ever, Major League Baseball and Topps have partnered to offer a limited edition RBI 19 Topps gift baseball card pack available with the purchase of this year's game at participating Walmarts. So the packs will include especially marked boxes of the game for Xbox One and the Nintendo Switch. And they'll feature Alex Bregman, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. With this looks like the Canada cover, and Ronald Acuna and Chris Davis, Jack Flaherty, Gleyber Torres, and Justin Turner also in there, and they're only going to be available while supplies last. So very interesting. I'm sorry. Lourdes Gurriel is the Canadian cover. I confession tonight. So Bregman is the American cover. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. is the Canadian cover.
My only complaint.
A weird grouping of guys.
My only complaint is that the Nintendo Switch version doesn't have Andrew Benintendi.
Why?
The Benintendi Switch.
Oh.
Bad pun, sorry guys.
Yeah.
But it's a set that I've been picking up since 2017.
Yeah, it's a weird checklist of players.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
It's like odd.
Yeah. It's just like they went and picked names out of a hat.
Well, yeah. I get Acuna, but I don't get Gurriel and Davis, and it's like
Jack Flaherty.
Flaherty, yeah.
Is he like Nolan Ryan, and I just didn't know?
Well, I mean, Gurriel makes sense for the Canadian releases. Acuna, yeah, sure. Torres for the Yankees, Dodgers, but Flaherty is the one that strikes most out. I mean, yeah, the Cardinals have the second most World Series titles, but it still seems like an odd pick.
Yeah. Yep. So interesting. Okay. The Ohtani Superfractor was pulled this week.
Yes,
it was. At Jeffrey G. Casey on Twitter posted this tweet: while on vacation, had an opportunity to stop in to my favorite Breakers card shop at mojobreak.com in San Jose. Doug was extremely generous and kind and got some swag and hit this beauty. Thanks again. Hashtag Mojo indeed. It was from a 2019 Topps Silver Pack. He pulled the 84 Topps Shohei Ohtani Superfractor 1/1. Steph has a photo. We're going to go live to the photo. This thing is a beaut. And I know Dan and Doug, and I know that they had their store, and it's open Monday through Friday, I believe. And, so I could see why, they posted, he posted this, but I can see them being generous and having one of their customers come in the store that they got to actually physically meet, which probably doesn't happen to them all that often.
Can you guys stop hoarding the Ohtani Superfractors in California there?
Yeah, in Northern California at that, by the way.
Right.
it's kind of funny, isn't it? I've long since had this conspiracy theory, which isn't a conspiracy whatsoever, that these are packed out specifically. There's a reason that the Otanis are showing up in California.
Probably.
It's funny as I bought into a break for Donruss from somebody from the Midwest as opposed to somebody in California, a breaker. I probably would have been better off in California because of that. Why has that guy got his fingers all over his Otani card? It's like, put that thing in some protection. If you want to show it off, fantastic. But by God, get your fingers off of it.
Yeah, that's a cool card. So Steph mentioned this earlier in the show, and it's called 150 Years of Pro Baseball On-Demand Set. It's from Topps. Topps is celebrating 150 years of professional baseball with a new on-demand set each week. 3 new cards will be released. Sounds familiar. Dedicated to the best moments, players, and rookies. So the first set came out this week, and card 1 is a historic moments card of Babe Ruth and his 60 home runs in a single season, which isn't even close to the record. Not even close. Number 2 is historic moments, Sandy Koufax 1965 perfect game, and the rookie campaigns, Mike Trout 2012. All cards are $7.99, just like Topps Living. And you can buy all 3 as a bundle for $14.99. It's like Topps Living. So they take Topps Now and Topps Living and Topps Archives and they just shove them together, and they're like, oh, here you go.
Yeah. I mean, the design kind of looks cool, and they definitely chose a decent 3 to lead off, unlike Topps Living.
Hey, Joe Panic was in the first 3.
Like I said, they chose a good grouping. Hello, phone. I thought I muted that. There we go. But how much of this on-demand crap? At work today, I found a set that I'd never heard of, and I pay really good attention to what Topps releases. It was an update online set that apparently they just quickly ran off, and nobody had heard of it, seen it. I never heard the release. We never covered it last year.
So what gets me about this set is we have Topps Now, which also features the Road to Opening Day, the All-Star Game parallels or All-Star Game series. Now you have the Players Weekend jerseys, you have the postseason, right? So all that's there. Now you have Topps Living, you have Topps On Demand, Topps Throwback Thursday, online exclusives like Ginter X and the Minis and the Sapphire, which are now packed out as opposed to buy a whole set. And now this crap. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna buy it because, man, it's a disease and I gotta have them. But how much of this crap do we need on top of the 37 releases that they're gonna have during this calendar year?
Yeah, I'm not. It looks to me like a insert in Flagship that I would care less about. And
here it is.
I don't know.
Do you guys remember seeing any of these get released last year?
No.
Topps On Demand 1978. Tribute flashbacks.
Did they come out as part of the no, because they wouldn't have been Throwback Thursdays. What's the checklist look like?
Well, let's just see. Good.
So while you're looking that up, can I rant for about 30 seconds?
You're allowed to. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Steph, I actually tweeted our private DM on Twitter if you want to throw a picture up because you're better at that stuff than I am. So last year, Ryan Healy got traded from Oakland to Seattle right before the season started. And Donruss base came out, and it had Ryan Healy's picture as the Diamond King, but it said Matt Olson's name, so it was like a half change. And when Optic came out, they had changed it to be Matt Olson instead of Healy Olson, right? So I was excited, like literally just a few minutes ago, right? When we were talking about Donruss, I was like, I can't wait for the Diamond King. I love the Diamond Kings. I literally just said that. And so looking up, and I was looking up to Chris Davis to see if I could find that RBI baseball card yet. So I typed in Matt Chapman. Dude, that Diamond Kings card is that's a picture of Chad Pinder.
It is. I was going to say that.
It's Pinder with Chapman. So literally it's Healy and Olson all over again, which means most likely Optic will have Chapman.
Do they just not know what this guy looks like? Matt Olson, send your picture to Panini. Or Matt Chapman, send your picture to Panini.
Like, I know Pinder can play third base. That's cool. And I love Pinder. He's a fantastic guy. And we met him last year at FanFest, and this year he remembered me. And so I love me some Pinder. But hey, listen to me. Put Chad Pinder's name on the card then, or find a picture of Matt Chapman. I know they look similar, but they're not that similar. Anyway, rant over. Thanks.
That's just stupid.
Oh boy. Okay, good times, man.
No. We can't let this go. No. Like, how? 2 years in a row?
But see, last year I get though, because he literally just got traded right beforehand. And so I get that. There was also that other set where Healy was an A and Segura, or not Segura, it was
Finkel and Einhard and Finkel and Einhard and Finkel.
I could get this if this 1985 had, like, Mike Norris's name with a picture of, Dwayne Murphy or something on it. So this was a throwback like Heritage does, where they, kind of pay tribute to the eras of yesteryear. I get that, dude, but no, come on. Last year's I could understand it away because of the timing of everything. I still think it's bad. If you have enough time to put Matt Olson's name on it, you have enough time to put a Matt Olson picture on it.
Hey, as an A's fan for the 2 hours this show is probably going to last, I'm very upset.
You're an A's fan now permanently. I just said I was a Colts fan, so we traded.
There we go. Also, some cool news came out this week again by I love Ryan Cracknell. He posted the story: the 2019 National Sports Card Collectors Convention tickets go on sale. So we'll just call it the National. It's going to run from July 31st through August 4th in Rosemont, just outside of Chicago. It's the 43rd of the show. It's at the Donald Stevenson Convention Center. So they have 4 different passes that you can pick up. Mm-hmm. And the first is the VIP pass, and this is going to run $140, and this covers all of the dates. So VIP pass in advance is $140 and $150 at the show, but they're going to sell out. And that's Wednesday through Sunday. You get a VIP gift pack with exclusive cards, 12 VIP autographs, use of the VIP lounge, and early admission. Steph, what is the VIP lounge? Is it just a place to sit down and smoke a cigarette and have a water? Or what does that look like?
So essentially it's a separate section where you can sit down, relax. I think it's near the food cart usually.
Is that needed to relax at the National?
After 8 hours of walking a hard concrete show floor, yeah. Either that or go sit on Tops's carpet. When you guys actually make it, you have to. You'll see what I mean. But Tops has this extremely soft, plush red carpet that it's really nice to relax on. There, I said my good thing about Tops now. Not Tops now, but.
That's a good segue. Yeah. That Tim and I are looking to raise funds for next year's National 2020. Openly accepting sponsors for our segments. Crickets? No? Crickets.
Okay.
You also get early admission, so it's a nice place to relax and put your feet up for a minute. Nice. Maybe do a little trades, get to know a little collector or two.
Well, and the one, to get to know a few collectors or two, but the best part is that you get to be on the show floor early, which means that everyone else who buys the regular admission package has to wait while you walk right in and go pick up your stuff.
I'm going to get to those 90 Tops before you.
Well, it depends if it's Frank Thomas or not. But a lot of the dealers actually use that to go in and see either A, stuff to add to their booth, or B, trading between themselves.
Yeah. So yeah, he said early admission. So then they have a super VIP pass, which is all of that stuff. But it's $200 in advance, $210 at the door, and you're going to get 2 VIP package gift exclusives with instead of the 1, you're going to get 18 autographs instead of 12, and you're going to get free parking.
So now, I should note, the free parking's definitely needed in Atlantic City. Not so much in Chicago. And the autos that they mention aren't actually the autos. They're tickets to go and stand in line to get an auto.
Yeah. But you don't have to pay for them. They're included.
You don't have to pay for them. Right.
And then they have the all access VIP. So go back to the first one. It's all of that stuff. And it's $200 and $2 in advance and $210 at the door. You're getting all that stuff. Plus you're going to get first in line autograph access, authentication line priority, 5 TriStar authentications, and 2 photo ops. And rumor has it one of the 2 photo ops is with Steph.
I mean, I'm willing to sign anything for $300.
Yes. And then there's an all-access super VIP. This is the pass that you want. It's $310 in advance, $320 at the show, everything. I listed before. You're going to get first in line autograph access, authentication line priority, 5 TriStar authentications, and 2 photo ops with Steph. So cool. So get on your tickets now.
Higher price.
Chicago would be the one show that I would like. That's the city I'd want to go to the most. Is my first national. Sure. But we've been, like Ben said, we're trying to shoot for Atlantic City to be our first next year, 2020. It's just from getting from here to there is a little more difficult than from here to Chicago. So,
getting from here to Atlantic City is just impossible because there's no real easy way to fly into Atlantic City. You have to land somewhere else and then drive in, usually. Hotels pack up quick. As far as the passes go, the 3 times I went, the 4 times Angela's went, we've picked up the super VIP each. It's a nice middle ground between way overpaying unless you're just going for autos and getting access early, the parking, which, like I said, is more necessary in other places. And then, if you don't want them, you can go turn around and say, hey, $5 for an auto ticket.
Well, and the marginal cost going from one package to the next, especially for Tim and I, right? You're coming from California to Chicago or Cleveland or Atlantic City, wherever you end up. What's the difference between $139 and $309? At the end of the day, it's not that much more.
Yeah, but you know what? Give me the VIP pass because I could I could care less about the autographs.
Sure.
I want to be in the show. I want to go dig through your dime box, your quarter box. I want to have a shirt that says "Follow me" on front of it, and then it's going to say a Big Shep on the back, or a Big Shep on the front. Follow me on the back.
On the back, it's going to say "Kick me."
Yeah, that's
right.
I'll be there with you.
Anyway, so I'm excited. I'll probably have to live vicariously through everybody again this year, but we'll see.
You'll just have to bump into me at the ComC booth.
Just remember, though, whatever you do, I do too. So we're like this.
Yeah, we're like peas and carrots. We're like Ginny and Forrest over here.
That's right. I may not be a smart man, but I know what love is.
Hey, don't say negative words about Jenny.
I would never say anything mean about Jenny Miller. But Jenny Gump, yeah. Jenny Gump was a dumpster.
She was kind of she was kind
a CD.
The opposite of our Jenny.
She was a friend to everybody. That's all.
She was the town bicycle. So we talked about Topps Heritage last week, and I got my set today from Bryn Becca. My team set, my base set, not the master, not the complete set with the short prints, because I wanted to pay the mortgage this month. So here is some interesting information from the man himself. So he sent out a couple of different tweets, and I think I've shared most of them, but I can't after the show put them out through the show handle. So this is the first one. Seeing and hearing of multiple cases of 2019 Hobby Heritage missing all of the SP cards. There's supposed to be 1 in every 3 packs. So entire cases zeroed out. Somebody sent out a tweet that they bought a box. It had no rookies. It had no short prints. It had no inserts and something else. It was just the base cards.
So it's like somebody actually went to a retail store, bought everything, pulled everything they wanted, and just left the base cards, but from a case. But this was a box. This was a hobby box from a store, right?
From a shop, right? Sealed hobby box. He also sent out a tweet. Another COPS QC quality control issue that has seemed to impact Heritage from time to time. It's consistent color printing of the borders and the backs. Remember, it has a gray border.
Don't
I
get
have
me
100
started.
different cards with white / light borders due to changes in ink on the first sheet of cards printed, since these are printed on 100 card sheets.
And I'm pulling up an image here.
Yes. He also tweets, the Chrome cards in Heritage this year been faster than I recall in quite some time. They are bending top loaders.
So you can see the light gray to the slightly darker gray for the same exact card.
Yeah.
We haven't seen any bending that bad since what, like 2010 Topps Chrome or something like that.
Chrome, where the cards now are like almost a circle.
Yeah. I mean, it's bad when you have to be extremely specific on your listings, because some of those Topps Chrome ones, I can't believe that these ones were that bad. They've never been.
This card's standing on its own. And it's bending a top loader. It's hard to have a card bend a top loader.
Right.
That's funny. Wait, folks, there's more from Brent.
Yes.
Right, because I asked, is it worse than 2010? And he adds, then 2010 Chrome, no, but for Heritage, I say it's the fastest I've ever seen this bad.
Yeah. So first of all, and then another fun story comes from a tweet from @Cardboard Heroic. He bought 2 hanger boxes.
Yep.
92% of the cards, I did the math, were the same. Check out these totally random at Target 19 Topps Heritage. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't even mad. I was impressed. Steph showing the video. There's 35 cards in a hanger box. 32 of the 35 were the same card in the same spot. The differences were that I think the inserts were different, and they were different inserts, and there were like a couple of base cards that coming up here that were slightly different. Right here, the Blue Jay and the Rocky, and a Red Sox and a Ranger, and then they go back to being exactly the same, and then the 2 insert cards in the hanger box were different. Yeah, and I can tell you, I bought 2. I got a gift card, and I for like $25. So I bought two blasters, and so I spent $18. And I was like, hey, it's not bad. It's more than a couple packs, and I get to open up 16 packs and go through it. And of the 16 packs, 5 of them were, or 6 of them, I'm sorry, were duplicates. So 3 from each box were almost exact duplicates, just like that. And I could tell you what the next card was going to be after opening the first box.
Right.
And I love the 70 design, and I love the way these cards look. But as Rob Sports Cards here in the chat says, Heritage sucks this year, in my opinion. I'm not quite sure if it's Heritage that sucks or whoever is printing and packaging the Topps products this year sucks.
Right.
So I tried to call in about the short prints missing from Jumbo Night series, from Flagship Series 1. And I was on hold for about 45 minutes and I hung up. And I'm going to try again tomorrow. I'm going to keep reporting back. You have short prints missing out of hobby boxes. You were still missing the wood minis from Allen and Ginter last year. And no answers of what's going on besides the stuff's missing. And they're aware of it. Well, no shit. Everybody's opened this. Enough Heritage has been broken to know this. Brent also sent out, I didn't put this in the notes, and it was one of the black refractors or something, one of the inserts. And if I'm wrong, fill me in, guys.
I'm pretty sure it's black.
Black chrome refractor. He saw one on Twitter, one on eBay. Not one person, not one player, or one card of this, one of the parallel sets. He got one, I think it was an Ohtani, in all the cases he was busting. And we're talking 30s, in the 30s of cases of this.
So real quick, let's rewind just a moment. We've had what now? We've had the Allen and Ginter fiasco last year with the wood minis missing. You've had the flagship issue where you had super short prints those were in retail and the short prints were in hobby, or I have those mixed up?
So the jumbo boxes had no short prints.
That's right.
It had super short prints. but they were all in the hobby boxes where the regular short prints.
Now you have Bad Coalition once again in Heritage, which has been a long issue.
Heritage retail, terrible coalition.
Short prints that are missing out of hobby boxes and cases and stuff like that. It's like if we started to actually sit down and make a list of time after time after time that we've gotten screwed as collectors and obviously the breakers that break as well for the last year, I'm sure we could find 8 to 10 to 15 things, like serious things. I mean, not having the wood minis, which could sell for possibly thousands of dollars depending on who they are, it's kind of a big deal for somebody like Brent and other people that open 50, 60 cases. And now this whole fiasco with Heritage and the fact that Flagship is costing us $70 for a handful of team sets where it used to cost us $30. All the short prints are $3 a piece, so a master set's now costing you $300. But hey, wait, it's not a big deal because we have the Topps Living set coming out. We have now the Topps 150th anniversary. Yeah. So at what point as collectors do we finally sit back and go, it's getting to the point where I'm going to look and go, you know what? I'm done buying new stuff. I'll buy my team sets, and that's it. I'm not buying any more parallels. I'll take all that money and redivert it back to my
So Steph just pulled up a job opening. Yeah, product quality specialist is available at Topps. So guys, if you have 2 eyes, 2 hands, well, shit, I don't even know. I think if you have half a brain, and that's it, apply.
2 years of experience as a QA. Okay, so this is for the mobile app, but still, you can't make that up.
Well, and they were also still looking for a brand manager, right? Because whoever's been there shit the bed pretty good too.
If you like the TV show The Office, they literally have a bunch of Creed Brattons working there.
Yeah.
What do you do here? Why do they want to know that information? Quality assure Ashwoods? It's like, come on. Are you kidding me right now?
So I want to move on to a little. Anyway, so we're gonna look into this and see what we can find out. But I want to. There was a great blog post this week by Cardboard Icons at Cardboard Icons on Twitter, on his blog page, and he's been blogging like almost daily now, which I love because, like I said, they're a couple-minute read and they're smart and they're relatable. They're super relatable. So pull that back up, Steph. Right, so he posted this. I just told some tidbits out of here, right? And this is from Heritage this year, little quirks. Right below the player's biographical information is the team name, Washington Nationals or Colorado Rockies. Now go look at the other card backs. You'll notice that cards of the other teams don't have the name on the back. This is the Bryce Harper card. It says Washington Nationals, and you go to see like here's some of the other Nationals that have the names on the backs. And then you go to like David Dahl Martin.
Rockies here.
Rockies. And then Freeland's got the Rockies.
So let's pull up one.
Yeah. So, and then you also know something. A handful of the Nationals cards in the 2019 set, the 1 through 400, correspond with numbers of the Washington Senators and Minnesota Twins from the 1970 set, which is a fun happenstance since there's some lineage between the Senators, Nationals, Twins franchises and locations. So just some fun little tidbits, but yeah, it's kind of interesting that I know I like I said, I haven't opened a bunch and I haven't sorted my cards. They're sitting in a box somewhere here.
I want to say there was an issue with the Nationals either last year or the year before as well, where there was like something with their name missing on the back of the card. So I don't think this is something that is new to this year. I could be mistaken, but
the other teams, there's only the Nationals and the Rockies that actually have the team name. So here, look at the back of this card of Urias. There's no team name.
Yeah. Interesting if that was done intentionally or not intentionally. And they're like, hey, guess what? We screwed up, but kind of worked out in our favor.
Yeah. And then there was a cool tweet by @Mets.com9 replying to the Angry Collector. I saw some breakers not shipping base for Heritage. Then what are they shipping? Guys, I can tell you a couple things about breakers. One, in a product like Heritage or Flagship, they almost only should send you your base. And if not, don't buy into their break, because what else are you really going to get? Now, if it's a product like a Bowman product where they're going to ship the chrome and the autos, awesome. You don't want the paper base, that's fine. I get that. A lot of these guys will donate the base and they'll specify that. I know that Mojo's done breaks before where they busted flagship jumbos, and they told you that, and you got a really good price on your team that you're only going to get the hits. And all of the cards, the base and the inserts, all were getting donated to Cards for Kids or some other charity. And basically, they were just going to give you the autographs and relics out of the box, and the rest was going. It was just enough to pay for, I think, half the case, and then they were covering the other half and was to donate these cards.
Sure.
So if they're doing that, yeah. But look into this. Steph pulled it up. So, like, really, like, think about Heritage, though. We just talked about a guy opening a box and only got more base cards. So, you know, trust your breaker and make sure you're breaking with the right folks.
No, I'm okay with a breaker not shipping base if it is specified. As long as I'm buying in knowing what the parameters are, there's complete transparency, I'm fine with it.
Yeah. Right. Some people don't want the base, and I get that.
Personally, you know, I think we're all in the same boat where we wouldn't break with somebody that didn't ship base because of how we all choose to collect. I'm okay with somebody that doesn't want base. I mean, when I used to work at the local card shop breaking, there were a lot of people that said, hey, I know you ship base. I don't want it. Keep it, throw it away, do whatever you want with it. Just send me the hits. It's all about your prerogative and your collecting style. But just as long as the breaker's got to be upfront about it, that's all.
It's funny. And then Keith Olbermann chimed in, and the 1970s, same as 1990 or 2019. When they asked me in every year as the unofficial old guy consultant for Heritage, this is the kind of stuff I encourage them to include. It's delightful when the logistics and the photography enable it to happen. So it's the Todd Frazier card. He's at City Park and he's signing an autograph near the railing. And there's also a Bud Harrelson card of the Mets doing the same as we pull it up at Shea signing autographs now. Very similar, probably locations in the park. And they're signing autographs in their Mets gear at their home stadium. And it's just a cool throwback to this. And I think, like, you know, we talk about Pat Neshek and the Lowell Powell card, how Neshek dressed up as Lowell, you know, with the glasses and everything. And they were both relief pitchers, like, you know, we're showing that now. That's super cool. And I think that Lowell Powell card, I think that's Shea, isn't it? The background?
I believe so. Most of the photos were from either Yankee or Shea.
Yeah. So that's just super duper cool. And I mean, Pat's awesome. Pat's a great guy in the hobby. So.
Anytime we have a throwback, like we were mentioning with the Donruss and our friend James Kikowski, who was on with us a few weeks back, had mentioned about the Donruss one we pointed out. It could have been a throwback to the Tom Seaver, Floyd Bannister error from the 85 Donruss Diamond Kings. Anytime you have a throwback, I'm okay with that as long as it's consistent with the set. And Heritage has done that quite a few times, having certain player swaps of teammates to you know, numbering certain cards identical to what they were back in the late 60s. I think that's a fun throwback. And this one with Harrelson and Frazier is cool. You know, the one with Neshek is cool. You know, I love this kind of stuff, and I think we should see more of it with a set like Heritage. You know, it's the perfect set because that's what it is, right? We're going back and we're doing the decals and the decal edges and the scratch offs and all the respective stuff that had come out that year. So,
yeah,
but they missed one.
Which is that? Twins related.
It is actually.
How did I know?
Boop.
You know,
Cesar Tober's card had a dot underneath the A.
Oh.
And there's no twin with a dot underneath the A in Heritage this year.
And that's the last time Steph appeared on the show. Guys, we're blowing through the show. It's just over an hour tonight. And we're already at the end. We're at the Iconic Collection. So we'll spend some time here. And then, you know, we're going to have a little banter. We always like the pre-show is the fun part of the show.
Well, so and actually, I was kind of looking for the perfect spot to insert this, and this now seems as good as any.
Insert away.
I will. I dare one of you to. I will mail this to you, but I dare one of you two to snort it.
I might not pass my drug test.
And maybe you have to get Ozzy on board. And say the fun part is. Even the front is warped.
It would be better if it was like Vince Coleman or Willie Wilson.
Right.
Tim Raines.
Or Lonnie Smith.
One thing before we get into the iconic collection, I purchased from Brent the 2019 Silver Pack McGuire Superfractor, completing the rainbow.
Yep.
The Ramon Laureano is going at auction right now, $126. It ends in 37 minutes. Curious to see what that sells in comparison to what I paid for the McGuire. Laureano seems like there's a highly artificially inflated market for him right now.
Sure.
Which I think falls off a cliff once the season starts by May, June. I don't think he holds up, but at the very least, it'll be kind of interesting for anybody that's out there that's kind of interested in superfractors.
I'd like to pull a superfractor one day. I don't even care who it is.
It'd be cool.
Just to pull one.
This McGuire will be the first official superfractor. I own a couple of 101 gold vinyls, which would be the Panini fractor.
Right.
But, this will be the actual first superfractor I own, so it's kind of neat.
My first printing plate I was really excited about was an Eddie Lacy.
I like printing plates. They're cool. I
was really excited at the time, and then he just ate his way out of the league. So the iconic collection, if you guys have been following along over the past few weeks leading up to spring training, we revealed our most iconic card for each major league franchise, and then some last week that were defunct. We covered one division each week, and now we've picked our top card from each division. So we let off with the AL West and worked our way through the AL, and then we went back to the NL East and came back West. So we're going to do the same here. So the AL West, Steph, what was your AL West card?
So unfortunately, there's a lot of overlap here with all of us.
I was going to go a little different here, but I really couldn't pull the trigger.
But I think we all went with Griffey, didn't we?
89 upper depth Griffey. Yeah.
Yep.
Now I wanted to say Trout, but the Griffey even more today still is that everybody knows that card.
Right.
See, but I don't think the Trout is the second most iconic. I still think the Henderson is more well known for people that aren't necessarily into modern cards. I just think that Trout is too modern. But did we not put Griffey on the Mount Rushmore of cards when we did by era? And so that's kind of where I went. So, yeah. How could we put the Henderson above the Griffey when for that era we put the Griffey above the Henderson? So it's but without a doubt that Griffey is probably top 3, maybe top 5 of all time.
Just a fun story about 89 upper deck I told before the show into our LCS today. I try to go like once a week just to kind of check out and see what they have and BS with the guys in there and see what's going on and what's up. A guy walked in with a list of sets he had hand collated through the 80s and 90s, like almost all of us. And, Greg went through the guy that owns the shop and was like, hey, I'd be interested in your 87 Fleer set and the 89 upper deck out of a list of about 30 sets. And so he ended up buying them, and he pulls out the Griffey and says, cool, just throw the rest of the set away. And one of the guys goes, dude, Shep will take at least the Royals and the Giants out of there. I was like, yeah, I'll go through. And he goes, take whatever you want. So I pulled out the Smoltz and the Johnson and a bunch of stars and the rookies out of there. And I don't know what they did with the rest of the set, but I was going through there and I was like, man, this is such a cool set. Like the McGuire, he's standing all tall like a giant in there. And
right.
Yeah, he's got 2 cards because there's another card and he's got like this little guy in the picture with him, but it doesn't say Mark McGuire.
Yeah, what did he say earlier about that?
I couldn't see what you were saying there, Steph.
I don't know.
And then the AL Central, we'll get a move there. So
he's
Steph,
talking about the Kirby bucket card. Yeah. Anyway,
what was your AL Central card?
The T206 Cobb.
Benjamin.
Yeah, that's tough to beat. I know why you went with what you went with, but that Cobb is by far more iconic, unfortunately. Sorry, Dave.
Oh, it is. It's not. The 1975 Topps George Brett, the most iconic card of all time.
Not even the best card in the set.
Well, yeah, because you had Robin Yount in that set, did you not? I mean, come on.
Last Killer Brew.
Hey, Mike Summers, card? If you're listening tonight, bud, we're going to need you to join us every Wednesday.
Pretty sure Smitty was in there, right? I mean,
yeah,
he wasn't even the best third baseman in the set.
Okay, the AL East cards. Ben, what was your AL East best card?
The most iconic card in the history of sports cards. Sans
second,
the Wagner. I just said the Wagner. So the Wagner is number 1. The 52 Mantle by far is number 2. I mean, I don't think.
I had the 84 Topps Don Mattingly.
Well, that's good. But you also had the 75 Brett, and we saw you were standing there in your wrongness. So stand there in your wrongness and get used to it.
No, we all went 80. We all went 52 Mantle. I mean,
with a hat tip to the 51 Bowman, the 52 tops. Yeah,
that was a good argument we had.
The
that
best
night
in the Central
between
the
those
East
two.
ever. Right.
Because I had a buddy watch that night. He just happened to log in and check us out, and he doesn't collect cards. And he called me after the show, and we talked for half an hour about the 51 versus the 52. And he said, if I had the money, because I looked at and I don't have the money for either one, and I don't collect cards, but he's a Yankee. He loves the Yankees. And he goes, I would want a 52 Mantle over a 51 Mantle. And he goes, you guys made it, and so that was cool to hear.
But there's a difference between what you would want versus what's more iconic.
Yeah, but he looked at the cards, though, and he's like, I've seen that card. I hadn't seen the 51 before. And it was a long, half-hour discussion about it. So it was really cool about how somebody not in cards could relate to it. And then I found out he had a whole bunch of Marvel stuff from the 80s or the late 90s the late 80s, early 90s. And so I hopefully you'll check this out.
Yeah, that was kind of the whole purpose of this, though, right? The casual fan, what would they recognize versus what we would know? We pulled some stuff out of our backsides that was absolutely fun to look at, and that are like the Oscar Gambles, right? I mean, those are iconic to us, the Glenn Hubbards. But our wives might be familiar with the Wagner and the Mantle. They're not going to be familiar with those necessarily.
I'd say people, guys gave me a hard time when I said 89 Fleer Billy Ripken. But there are a lot of people that are not in the hobby that know about that card.
There are, and that's why I think that might be more iconic than the Ripken.
The other Ripken.
The only time he's ever going to beat his brother.
Yeah, the 82. But yeah.
Anyhow, the NL East. Ben, who did you select here?
I had to go with the Ryan Koosman 68 because I think it also makes the top 5 of most iconic cards.
Yeah, I agree with you. I went with the Koosman card.
No, Nolan. With no offense to Nolan Ryan, and it's a great card. I went with the better player, and Hank Aaron, 54 tops.
Yeah, I mean that's on the top 10 list. Those guys, and it's hard, but both of these cards are in the same division, right?
Yep.
So you can't wrong there. I went back and forth a little bit.
And a lot of that one too might be because the Aaron is 14 years older, younger, however you want to look at it. Depending on what age and era you're from. I mean, if you're in our age group, 30s, that Ryan is probably a little bit closer to our age group. Where if you're in your 50s, you might be, for instance, there was a couple sets my dad the other day. He said that he liked that were like the late 60s sets. I'm just like, I just couldn't get behind those. But they grew up in that era where there were so many profile pictures, and that's kind of what we were talking about. He was talking about how he likes Allen and Ginter because they're headshots. Yeah, a lot of the time. I like Gypsy Queen, which I think is a similar product. He's like, well, I like Ginter because I like the illustration. Like Gypsy's the same thing, but he also is 25 years older than I am. Different era. That's what they were producing for the most part in the 50s and 60s.
Yep. In those Central, I'll lead off here. I went with the T206 Honus. Not Honus Bonus. Not that bullshit. The Honus Wagner.
That's a good looking set, though. Don't knock it. Oh, yeah. The Wagner is the most iconic card. How could you not choose that? I mean, if you have to be an absolute idiotic moron and know nothing about baseball cards.
Steph, what card did you go with, bud?
Yeah, the 63 tops Pete Rose.
It's not even the most iconic Pete Rose card.
It is, though.
No, it's the most valuable, maybe the most sought after, not the most iconic. The 64, his rookie cup is far more iconic. So you can take that wrongness, and now you stand there in your wrongness.
So he's been wrong twice because he picked that division, by the way.
Yeah, so he did it wrong twice. Double down.
I think you guys are both wrong about the picks for the NL West.
No, you are.
Very much so.
You guys even like when I picked this card originally. Yeah, you like his the best card in the division?
No,
of the choices that were available? Yes.
You guys went with the 48 leaf Jackie Robinson. I went with the 51 Bowman Willie.
All right. But see, that's the other thing too, is I think the 52 Willie Mays is more iconic than the 51. You know, and I don't think that the 48 Leaf. I think you were wrong the entire NL West, but
I'll get the Goldschmidt and the Arenado right. Let's just go there.
Okay. Well, that's like saying I also got the Longoria right with the Rays. I mean, you're not picking from like a deep pool there, buddy.
Yeah,
kind of like your family tree. It's a shrub.
You're talking about like the New York Yankees being like the Pacific Ocean, and then the Rays and the Rockies and the Diamondbacks being like a kiddie pool, the little plastic one you buy for $8 at Walmart to keep your kid quiet.
Yeah, a yellow kiddie pool.
That's funny. Yeah, Scott, of course it's the Wagner. I mean, you know, or we were gonna go through some Chad Herbenstein cards, but we just didn't have time to name all of how cool his cards were.
I've seen way too many today. I'm good.
Yeah. No, and so Ben brought it up earlier, and we're gonna put this out there. So we've tossed back and forth about doing some kind of like having like somebody support one of the different segments of our show. And really what that is for is to help us be able to share some more things with maybe go more places and share those experiences with you guys. We're not quite sure. It's just kind of in the beginning stages to enhance the podcast and your experience with us. I mean, we didn't think we were going to do 38 episodes. Legitimately, I think we thought 5 or 6.
I thought it was going to be 5 or 6 until we had to replace Ben. So,
you know, no, that's your cousin. That's why I mentioned him, Scott. So
says the guy who chose the 63 Pete Rose over both the 64 Pete Rose and the Wagner. Come on.
Yeah, well, you can stare at my Pete Lecoq.
Yes.
What do you think we were doing in the show afterward?
You did it.
I thought you were going to shower for a sec there, kid. No, so it's one of those things. So if you want to support the show and do something like that, awesome. If you know somebody that does, whatever, shoot them our way. Just thoughts. So, and guys, if you have things you want us to talk about or, ideas for the show, send them our way. We love that. That's our favorite thing. Like you see stories in the hobby. You have issues in the hobby. You have something you want us to talk about, or you feel somebody's been wronged or righted in a good way. Send them our way. We want to be the ones to talk about that and share that with all of you.
Or you'd like the three of us to explain something that maybe you have questions about or don't quite understand. Vintage or new even.
Which is a nice segue into, I think now that the Iconic collection is done, we kind of thought about possibly moving forward over the next 6 to 8 weeks, having a segment to replace that, which would be explaining kind of the backstory of Donruss, Fleer, O-Pee-Chee, Leaf, how, kind of their Upper Deck, kind of how they came and went, and then maybe also, TCMA and Star and some of the off the wall sets, who Rob Broder was and his contribution to the hobby, all the different quick licenses that we saw in the food issue. So we might start something along that. I don't know if we're going to do that next week or sometime in the future, but we might have 6 to 8 weeks of just a little bit of the background.
Yeah.
Doing 1 or 2 companies a week, depending on the size. Obviously, Donruss and Fleer might get a little bit more time than, say, Star and Pacific would. But honestly, I mean, Steph gave me a crash course on some of that stuff a while back when this idea was kind of popped into our heads. I was actually watching a podcast, or not a podcast, but a YouTube video that's absolutely terrible. A couple of guys, and somebody asked him about O-Pee-Chee, and he's like, well, it's kind of like a parallel set.
It's just Canadian top.
And
it's like American bacon, but round.
It really is, and that was his explanation. He goes, it's Topps' Canadian parallel, and that's it. Like, but the checklists don't match, and there's a little bit more.
Yeah, and as James says, O-Pee-Chee baseball is rich. It definitely does, and then there's the numbering. There's just so much behind it, and that's the thing we want to get into and kind of explain, because not a lot of people know what O-Pee-Chee is, and what a lot of people think O-Pee-Chee is that 91 O-Pee-Chee Premier that I still think might be reproducing somewhere.
Right, and, 1980.
Yeah, and what was that? 2013 Topps or 2013 Triple Play.
triple play. Yep.
Yeah, I was joking with somebody on Facebook. I think I mentioned this a while back. Do not feed your 1990 Donruss after midnight. Stop it.
Do not feed me variations after midnight.
Hey, and I want to run this story out to you guys. So,
Sure.
I heard that the 90 Tops cello boxes have no-name Thomases in them more frequently than other ones. I've heard this from multiple people, and I looked on eBay and I was seeing boxes selling for $20+ plus shipping, 15 or $20 to ship on top of that. So people are spending $35 to $40 for a cello box of Tops, 1990 Tops. Let me know if you have any information on that. I did some Googling, and not all of it was what I was expecting. There were a lot of forums and just people kind of speculating. So
I will bring it up tomorrow at work with my coworker.
Yeah.
She was in the hobby, and I think just started at a place shortly thereafter.
A publication or something.
Yeah, named after a doctor or something or other. But I'll see what he has to say as far as.
Yeah, I'd just be interested. So,
well,
so real quick,
go ahead.
Well, no, James just posted the 90 Tops jumbo packs in the Northeast and Carolina. The cellos didn't have them. We threw the damn things out when we were kids. So
it's kind of interesting, and that's the kind of stuff that we want to kind of maybe bring forward over the next month to 2 months with some of this stuff. Different.
And don't forget, this summer we're gonna do Cast to Trash. Trust me, the prospects that were, and then
the ones that. Well, I was just watching Boy Meets World the other day, and it's where Corey leaves his sister home, Morgan, while he and Sean go to the pizza parlor to get Lenny Dykstra signed autos, and he's like, has a stack of cards, and he's like, they're getting more expensive by the minute, and now, and he's getting all excited, and I'm like.
So I was watching This Is Us, and God, you have to be in a good spot to watch that show. But one of the kids in it flashes back to 1987, and he's talking about they live in Pittsburgh, and he wants to get John Smiley's autograph on his 87 Tops traded card, his rookie card. He's afraid he's going to get traded to the Twins, and they actually had a guy play Smiley on there, and the card actually used was an 89 Tops traded John Smiley card.
Nice.
They actually got it right with the right card.
Attention to detail.
Yeah. Unlike the Goonies, when they had like the 1973 Lou Gehrig, whatever it was, league leaders.
Yeah.
And they pull out Chester Cobblepot's wallet, and he's like, Lou Gehrig, and it's like, this guy died like back in the 30s. How the hell does he get like a 1973 Tops card in his pocket? You couldn't have grabbed like a reprint
or the 1989 Pacific cards that ended up on the Sandlots clubhouse.
Yeah, it's like a lot of this stuff. That stuff's funny.
Oh, they're making a Sandlot TV show with the original cast. It's about 25 years too late.
Where's the movie based on Little Big League?
So what's funny, Tim, is you brought up a few moments ago that, for people to share our stories, their stories, the hobby things related for good or bad. And one thing that happened right before the show was our good friend Brent had himself some fun this afternoon. Somebody had decided to make a slew of offers on all of his cards, some priced in the $2 to $5 range, some in the $5 to $10 range. And he wasn't complaining, more so as sharing, saying, oh my, I have one buyer on eBay today that's made over 270 different offers, all 99 cents per item. If Brent was to decline, he'd come back at 99 cents again. If Brent countered, he'd also come back at 99 cents. He said he did accept a lot of them that were priced between $2 to $3, but he would counter the ones between 5 and 10. And then as the day progressed, that was about 3 hours ago or so, he got up to 320. Brent even screenshotted the list of offers that were coming through. At some point, he said it was over 400. So he's not sure if there was a bot or somebody was doing this manually, but he's like, somebody has a lot of free time, and Brent did a little research. It does look like, the guy has 49 feedback, and some of it said he doesn't pay. So who knows if Brent will actually see his money? But I feel bad for our friend. Yeah, just the amount of time it would take, and Brent's a serious dude. I mean, this is what he does for a living, and to get bogged down for his sake, I hope that the guy does in fact pay. But sorry, Brent, if you're out there listening, it was kind of funny to read.
So that means Brent charged Ben more next time.
He probably will. He does.
He just bent the superfractor in half.
He did. Hopefully, hey, that's another thing you brought up. You said you got your stuff from
Brent. Or did it bend itself
I'm not waiting just for my Heritage stuff. There's a pretty big card that's also supposed to be shipping.
What's cool about this is I was bidding on some Garrett Hampstead rookie cards out of Heritage, a lot of 10, and halfway through I realized it was Brent. And so what I won, I sent him a message and said, hey, you can send these along with my other Heritage stuff, whatever. And my team sent to my set, and then I got a message back, and it was weird because it was like, thank you. Well, it was a really kind message. We'll get this out for you soon. And it didn't make sense. And I got a call. I went back and forth and said, yeah, okay, thank you. And I was like, does Brent not realize who because I put at Big Shep 79 in there. And so I felt kind of sad because it's like, oh man, he doesn't remember who I am, though. I buy from him like almost on a regular directly. And I get a few messages going back and forth. And I get one, oh, hey, this is, I forget her name, but so-and-so, I work with Brent. I work for Brent.
Yeah, he has somebody that works for him.
Yeah, and she goes, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were one of his direct buyers. And I was like, oh, no, we're okay then. We're good.
No, I was about to say
I just felt kind of, I was like,
yeah.
I was just like, oh. I felt like, when you find out like your superstar isn't really the nice guy you think he is and all this. What, who's that?
Nobody.
Blyleven.
Oh. And so you're a little disappointed, and then it was reaffirmed. I got a message directly from him. And I was like, oh.
Well, I remember the first time that I said something to you that hurt your feelings, and you had that deflated, my hero is very, very nice, and I was like, oh, just you wait, kiddo.
When was that?
I don't know. It was wild. I called you dum-dum or something, and you started crying.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I've never been called anything worse than dum-dum.
Well, you heard that, but I'm your idol. I'm your hero, and I called it to you. I said it to you.
Can I meet him, or are you going to?
Brent had that other one too, where somebody had messaged him. At Brent's prices was like $125. Brent countered with 99 shipped. $125 was before shipping on these 5 cards. So you figure, round up probably $130, and the guy. It's like, no, $99 shipped is too much. All you did anyway was take 10% off of your eBay price, and that's not very much of a deal. And he worded it to where I had to read it like a dozen times to even try to understand what he was saying. And I'll share this. That Tim sent a private message to Steph and I saying, does this not sound like something Ben would do? Essentially, look, I may say something stupid, which I know I'm capable of, and I do frequently. However, my math would have been right. At the very least, I would have made sure that I understood what 10% of $125 was. Yeah. And then Brent did him a solid and offered him $90, and the guy still said no. And it's like, dude, he's getting you a damn good break here.
And blocked.
Yeah, like you idiot. But yeah, to me that frustrates me because I live in the world of numbers, and at the very least, I would have understood the percentage.
So, Ben, you were mentioning the future topic where we cover the companies. I saw this earlier, and I had it pulled up here for a bit, but I was going to let you finish off on your tangents that you go on every now and then. Somebody who writes for the Sabre Baseball Card Group blog post and Twitter, Heavy J28, was discussing with Topps as far as their content that they post on Twitter. And Topps directly replies, what do you care about? Because initially, Watch the Breaks from Ivan from GoGTS asked, what is one business account you follow, even though you know they won't follow you back and they will never give you anything for free? Mine is at Five Guys. Hands down, no strings attached. Best burgers in America, land of the burgers. And yeah, okay, Five Guys is pretty good. But anyway, Topps replies back, well, what do you care about? And he writes back, I think Daniel W43 really nailed it. Would like to see a Topps vintage account. So many of us are vintage Topps collectors who would love to get the inside stories on older issues. It wouldn't kill us if you tried cross-selling heritage as long as most posts were quote-unquote true vintage. Topps replies back, we can work on putting more vintage content together. And they go to expound on it a little bit more. And Topps essentially said, hey, we'll look at all of this feedback and see and discuss it. So if you start seeing a little bit more discussion as far as production or historical stuff, because I'd like to think I've shared here, one of the years at the National, Topps essentially admitted that they don't have a complete history in their archives of the entire set runs, dates, who signed when, if they signed when, contracts. They don't have much of anything. They don't really have a Topps historian, as it were, like most teams in the Baseball Hall of Fame and the other Cooperstown Hall of Fames have. And it's kind of a shame, personally. They're relying on the hobby to put together all of this content and information, which is fine, but they should also have someone too, maybe.
Yeah,
you would think so with an company that big who's really the driving force in all of trading cards. But it's at the very least, it's good to know that Topps is reaching out and asking.
Sure.
Yeah, that to me makes it like, hey. And we don't know if they listen to our podcast or what they review on Twitter and which accounts they, I know they follow people, but are they really listening? So it's nice to know that somebody over there, at least on that particular one, listened and kind of reached out and engaged.
Yeah, it's a nice little touch to reach in and see what how they can help reach and spread. That's what she said. The hobby.
Real quick, we have a new person, looks like, in the chat named Heather. Heather, if you just had to pick one of the three of us, who is your favorite host on this show?
Well, it's obviously not Ben.
Probably not. Well, let's just see what Heather says. I'm interested to see. No, it's really sad because you think if like Topps would have to me, if I'd ran Topps I would have one set of all of the cards we ever released stored away in this vault, and then they would be stored away and set up as a historical thing, so you could go back and look and see this is what a full 52 set looks like. This is what a full 85 set looks like. This is what a full 2017 set looks like. Here it is. We have it all.
Something like a certain publication group has on their headquarters.
Yep. Real quick, this Heather in the chat said, well, that would be Tim, of course.
So before the show, I was like, honey, have you listened to the show? And she's like, once in a while. I said, man, I am damn entertaining. And her response to me was, that's because you think you are, because you like to hear yourself talk. And that was like hitting a brick wall, because I was like, well,
your hero struck you down.
In the morning I talk to myself in the mirror. It's just like, hey, damn it, I like you. You're a good guy. You're gonna have a good day.
Dang it, Ben. People like you, and you're Josh Garnett, a good guy. From all the people that don't know Stuart Smiley from,
I'm glad you caught that reference.
Saturday Night Live in the late 80s, early 90s. Well, guys, we're gonna wrap the show up tonight on that high note that Heather, I'm her favorite. I bet Steph and I are probably pretty tied though.
1A, 1B.
Just depends on the day. It's just probably because I'm wearing this hat.
She hasn't known you as long. She's known me for 10 years. So
I feel bad.
Yeah. I mean, Heather, we have the same blanket. We share the hatred of Ben. I mean, come on.
When we're in our meetings, the I Hate Ben Wilson Club, when we meet on Fridays,
right.
She is very vocal.
So when we first met Steph, we had the same Mickey Mouse blanket. They both had it as
kids.
Have it. We had a cat that looked very similar to Steph and Angela's cat, and so when Heather and Steph first started talking, it was the Spider-Man thing. They were pointing at each other. You, me, you. I mean, it was they connected over cats and blankets. It was very cute.
That's how a lot of people connect.
It is.
Netflix, cats and blankets.
Yes. Remember, we're live every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on YouTube. Make sure to follow us and Central. Make sure to follow and subscribe and review our show on YouTube, iTunes, and Stitcher.
Yep.
Always follow us about the cards on Twitter. Follow Ben at Our Trading Cards. Follow Stefan at Junkwax Twins. You can always follow me at Big Shep 79 and BigShepsCards.com. Please share your hobby stories and great polls. Send your questions our way. We love it. Keep collecting. And guys, not enough thank yous and kind words out to the Bice family this week. And guys, I really appreciate everybody that stepped up and did stuff, even retweeting, donating whatever they could, and just getting it out there to more people has been amazing. And thank you so much for doing that to a great family that is going through an unimaginable time. We love you, Brian, and hopefully we'll get to see you soon, and we can talk some trading cards. And I have almost an 84 Fleer set sitting here waiting, or is it 83? I don't know. It's one of the two sitting back here for you, ready to go. So we will talk to you soon, guys. Keep collecting, and we'll talk to you next week. Have a good one.
Yep. Have a great one, everyone.